Hey y'all, Friendly Neighborhood Steve here with my co-host Shadow, and my brother and guest star Ronnie. Let me go ahead and introduce them.
How you guys doing? It's Shadow, Neighborhood Shadow. How you guys doing? Once again, here with my co-host. We got our visitor today. We're gonna pass it on to him so he can introduce himself.
How you doing? I'm Ronnie. Currently in recovery. These two guys are definitely helping me out a lot. Love them to death.
All right. So today's message is all about recovery. Walking in someone's shoes and judging them is the first and foremost thing you don't want to do. Mental status, we're going to talk about that. It's just a couple of guys getting together, just, I would say, venting and letting people know it only takes one day. One day. Once you realize that, it only takes one day to change. I'm going to pass it to my co-host.
Hey y'all. So, if we're going to talk about being in other people's shoes and not judging and stuff like that, the first thing that comes to mind, I grew up in a lower middle class. We didn't have all the money in the world, but we weren't starving. We had clothes on our backs, and my folks worked, their fingers to the bone to make sure we were taken care of. So when I became an adult, and I'd see like homeless people and stuff like that on the street, I immediately judged and thought them lesser than me. Lo and behold, 29 years old, I'd be homeless myself. So I became one of them, and I realized that, wow, I treated these people or thought of these people lesser than because they weren't up to my status. And, it only takes, one moment, one day, 1 week for your entire life to get wiped out from you. And then next thing you know, you're on the streets begging for a sandwich, And now that I've walked miles and miles, hundreds of miles in my own shoes, being homeless, I now have an appreciation and an understanding what it's like, therefore, I myself am in recovery, and I found myself delving even deeper into my addiction just because it's so rough out here. You guys, if you've never been homeless, you don't understand the struggle of not knowing where you're going to get some water, not knowing where your next meal is, so that that depression sets in, and next thing you know, you're taking that $5 you got from a stranger and you're buying a bottle.
Right.
And I did that. For a year before I decided to get myself into a program and get myself cleaned up. So now, it doesn't matter if you got millions or you got negative millions. I treat everybody the same, and it took a really, hard time and swallowing my pride and my ego in order to, realize that these are people too. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to my co-host, and he's going to give you a little bit of his 2 cents.
Once again, it's your boy Shadow. And like my co-host was saying, you ever heard that old saying where you can't judge a book by its cover, right? Don't judge anybody unless you have been or seen or walked in their shoes, or even at least read a book, a scripture, a page. Know them. So a little bit of my story is, I'm in recovery myself. Been in recovery for the last 30 days. I'm proud of that. Come from a poor family where we had to fight for food. We had to fight for clothes. So I never thought, after getting myself to middle class, that I'll ever see myself homeless. I used to judge the homeless too a lot. Like, I would never be there on the box. I would never lay in a tent and be holding a sign saying, please give me some quarters so I can eat. Man, 10 years, 15 years later, at 34, I found myself literally on the streets. I found myself in a tent. I found myself deeper and deeper into depression, and I found myself deeper and deeper into my substance. Being an addict is not easy. Mental status is not easy, but it takes one step, and that's in you to change. I found my buddy right here. I found my brother right here. And I found a lot of other people will hope to have on future videos, so you can see how recovery and how having a support system, because I realized that's all I needed was a support system. These two men didn't know me from Adam, but they took a second and heard my story. They took a second and helped me gather my brain, my mind. Being someone from 7 kids, being the baby, being bullied, being judged, you name it, they've done it to me. My enemies have always got me to the point where I wanted to give up on myself and stop the movement and everything like that. Don't let anybody ever take you out of your character. Don't let anybody ever tell you you're not good enough, because if you know you, then you've already made the first step of recovery. So I'm gonna pass it to our guest speaker today, and he's gonna tell you a little bit about his story.
I'm Ronnie. I come from a troubled childhood. My mom was an addict. She tried to kill me when I was 12. So she ended up doing a lot of time for that, and I got put in with my grandparents. I'm thankful I went to my grandparents. We weren't rich or nothing. And all I cared about ever since was making money, which got me nowhere but being alone, which led to drugs and alcohol. I moved to Reno 6 years ago and went down the same road, being a loner, doing drugs, alcohol, and working, until last November when I crashed and burned. I've been clean ever since. I absolutely love it. I met a lot of good people along the way, including these 2 great guys. I've grown a lot. First time in my life I'm 100% clean. I love it. I'm not going back. I'm looking forward to the future, and I'm actually happy with myself, which is also a first. Sorry for the lisp. I had a oral surgery the other day, so my face is a little swollen. So there's a bad lisp. So I want to pass you back to Steve here. Great man, love him to death.
Hey, Al, Friendly Neighborhood Steve here. You know, if you're watching this and things are a little rough, I get you. I feel you. I see you too, and I see you're trying, and I'm proud of you. You know, this recovery business isn't easy. You know, dealing with your mental health isn't easy.
It really isn't.
No.
Like life is a battle. Life is a mission. Life is to get to your next path in life. You gotta fight. You gotta climb. My buddy, he taught me a lot about rock climbing in his last video I watched with him, in his last video he did. So you gotta think about that. If you're going up a mountain and you're going and you slip, like he said in his video, do you stop? Do you go all the way back down? No, you don't. You keep pushing. You keep going until you make it to that next step, because your journey's never done. Your journey will never be done until, I will say, for my faith, the Lord decides that your journey is done. So I'm going to ask my buddy a question here. Okay. What in your life brought you to being, I guess you could say, an addict, or needing to find that comfort in something else besides, like most of these people, being clean for their whole lives, or never touching a drug or drinking a bottle? Like, why and where did you first have your, I guess you can say, your downfall?
Oh man, that's pretty rough, but I don't mind telling it. I've told this story many times. So when I was 20, my mom got breast cancer, you know, and she kicked its ass once, but unfortunately when you know, after that fight, she was pretty worn and beaten down, you know. Sorry guys, it's a little hard. So by the time I was 21, the cancer had come back. And this time it had spread to her lymph nodes and her spine, and that was pretty much a done deal. So after she passed away, I dove into the bottle, closed the cork behind me, and stayed there for about 10 years. During which, towards the end of that 10 years, I had gotten married and had a son, and was trying my best to do it on my own, which those of you who are in recovery know you can't, you know.
No.
So, you know, I eventually just kind of burnt myself out. You know, I ran through jobs and lost them because of my drinking. I lost my wife and my son because I was drinking. And so I hit the streets, and it took me, you know, about a year till I finally snapped, and I gave myself an ultimatum. I was like, look, man, you're either gonna go down this road with this alcoholism and this drug use to the point where it's going to kill you, or someone's going to kill you on the streets, or you can get your head out of your ass and you can go find and seek help. So that's what I did. You know, I decided that I could not do this by myself, and I swallowed my pride and my ego again, and I begrudgingly walked from my weekly to the first program that I got into, which was only about 4 or 5 blocks down the street, but it took me easily a half an hour to an hour to get there, because every block I would just stop and start, you know, throwing up water and nothing until nothing came out but bile, because I was going through the withdrawal so bad. And at that point, you know, I was done. I was like, this is bullshit. I can't fucking live like this anymore. And so unfortunately, it took me some trial and error. I did end up leaving that program after 45 days because I was caught drinking. Went to my next program, made it 57 days, and then I left and started drinking. During which I would go to detox centers and stuff like that, and then jump into another program. Third time around, I decided that, you know, with the help of another a woman who works in a program around here, she helped me, you know, get into a 30-day rehab and then into a program, and I started taking baby steps, and I really delved myself into recovery and was willing to do whatever it took to keep myself sane. So, you know, here I am. It's been in recovery 4 years, and it's been nothing but wonderful. You know, I mean, there have been terrible times, but they build my character, and I you know, I'm so thankful for recovery, because otherwise I'd probably be dead in a ditch somewhere. And you know, I'm trying this again. You know, if you know, I'll tell you this: recovery is not about sobriety, or it's not just about sobriety. Okay, recovery is a journey of healing. So, sobriety is abstinence from drugs and alcohol. So I have 4 years in recovery, and I have 27 days sober. Unfortunately, as I mentioned before, it only takes one moment to get your whole life ripped from you, and that's what happened to me, unfortunately. But hey, you can't keep a good fighter down, and I'll always get back up. I'll fight till I'm ground beef. And so here I am fighting again, but I'm getting back on my feet, and I'm here to help those who need, you know, direction. And, you know, again, if you're watching this, then, you know, if you know anybody, or if you are that somebody, you know, just keep on trucking. I believe in you. We believe in you.
We do.
And never give up. I know sometimes it seems bleak, especially when you have a reoccurrence of use. However, as my co-host and I've mentioned before, just because you fall during a hike doesn't mean you tumble down the mountain. You get your ass back up, you dust yourself off, and you keep working, and that's the same thing with recovery. Even because you have a slip, don't let it turn into a slide
or an avalanche,
because that happens to us for sure. So I hope that answered your question a little bit.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm gonna pass it on to my co-host.
All right, so we're gonna leave with the same question for our guest speaker.
How you doing?
So once again, like what brought you into, I guess you could say, your fall in life? I know you mentioned a little bit about your mom, your grandma, excuse me. So I'm gonna pass the camera on. He's gonna give you a little bit more detail on his strike to recovery.
What brought me to, I guess here, I tried to cover the pain in my childhood with drugs. It didn't get me nowhere except for 3 falls in my life. Every time I start doing good, I self-destruct and I blame myself. I'm not allowed to succeed. I'm not allowed to be happy. So I go down the self-destruct path and destroy everything. This last time was the worst. I was doing amazing. I had a really good job. I was driving limos. And everything was going perfectly. And to me, that wasn't what my life was going to be. I grew up with hardship, so I figured, I got to stay in that mindset. It took a lot of therapy, and I'm still doing therapy. I see a therapist, and it helps me out a lot. I've moved forward a lot. Talking with these guys over here is just great. These guys helped me out a lot. It's just touch base on my mom a little bit. She was a party girl. My dad's a biker, and she was a biker chick. So I came out of my mom 4 months early. She was 15, and my lungs weren't developed. So the first 12 years with my mom was really rough. There was no love in the house. It was every man for themselves. I took care of my little sister, and we all got split up when we were 12. My sister went to foster home. I went to my grandma's. I'm thankful for going to my grandmother's. She taught me love. My grandfather gave me morals and a work ethic. If I was with my mom the entire time, I don't know. I'd probably be dead by now, or in jail for life. I owe a lot to my grandparents. They gave me life skills that I needed. Unfortunately, I held on to the depression and anger and resentment from my mother. And I can say honestly, I've finally gotten over it. 3 years ago, I contacted my mom and I said, I forgive you for everything that happened. And that was a major stepping stone. I wasn't carrying the anger for her anymore. So I decided to start working on me, which was rough. A lot of ups and downs. And I'm confident the last down was the last November. Bear rolled my car. I was honest for the first time in my life to a boss and got fired. But later on, after I got out of rehab and everything, got a letter of recommendation. He respected me more because I was honest. And here I am, starting work, driving again here in the next few days. Been looking at apartments and new cars. I'm super excited what the future holds for me. And a lot of people along the way helped me, including these great guys over here. I couldn't do it without him, and everybody really helped me, and I'm eternally grateful. I'll give it back to Steve.
Alrighty, guys. So I have a question. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to tell a little bit of your story.
I don't mind at all.
So recently, my brother here, he had a moment where he lost hope. And thank goodness I had, come home just in that time, because I was able to wrap myself around him and try to put that hope back in his heart. I did what I could, but ultimately the rest is up to you. You have to do the work. I can give you advice, I can back you up, I can let you lean on me, but ultimately it's up to you to do the work. So my question for my two friends here is, what do you do when you lose all hope? What's the plan moving forward?
Well, for me, I would say the plan moving forward is to understand that I have to work on me. Sometimes you just have to be selfish. You might have a wife, you might have kids, you might have cars, you might have all this, but are you truly happy? Are you truly happy? Because think about it. Like for me, I had family, I have friends, but I look left, I look right, and I have this friend, I have this family. So think about that. If those friends and family that you're kicking it with, hanging out with, smoking dope with, drinking beer, heroin, fentanyl, whatever your choice is, think about that. Turn right, turn left, look forward. Are they there? Are they really gonna be there? Okay? You gotta work on yourself before you can do anything. It takes your environment, it takes the people you're surrounded by, and it takes you. So, with that said, man, I had to collect myself. I had to cry. I had to hug. I had to let it all out, because holding the shit in, man, it self-destructs you. It hurts you. It makes you feel like you're nothing. You're worthless. And being told that my whole life, even with a master's in choreography, even with a master's in sound engineering, even with gymnastic skills, I was still, in my eyes, a loser. I was still, in my eyes, a statistic. I was still, in my eyes, a black man trying to fight out here in society. Why? Why keep fighting when all you're told is you're going to be a failure? Don't let those words, don't let anything like that get to you, because people like us, we got enemies, and the enemies are our addiction, our mental status, or the people we hang out with, the environment we continue to socialize with. So I say what brought me into recovery and everything like that, I got tired of losing. I got tired of being hurt. I got tired of seeing friends that I thought were friends leave, die, just say fuck me, pretty much. So now that I look right and I look left and I look forward, I got my brother, and now looking forward, depending on the camera, I got me. At the end of the day, it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to look at yourself. It's okay to be not okay, yeah. Once you get comfortable, man, you're not okay. Am I right?
Yeah.
Once you get comfortable, you're not okay. You want to be uncomfortable. Because when you're uncomfortable, that means you're working towards something. Yep. That means you're getting somewhere. But when you start getting comfortable, what happens? You start going back into the bottle. You start going back into your old ways. And you don't want to do that. For somebody who's freshly into recovery, like I just got my 30 days. So somebody that's freshly into recovery, I have a long road ahead of me. And I have to remember that just because I stumble, just because I might slip just a little bit, I gotta dust myself off and I gotta keep going forward. I have to keep going forward. So that's the main thing. Keep going forward, because without you, you have no one. We're gonna pass it to Ronnie, see if Ronnie has a question for us.
Anything that comes to your mind, brother.
Anything, bro.
Anything comes to mind? Oh man, camera shy.
No worries.
First time looking into a camera.
Yeah.
that other people are going to see.
No worries.
Positive ways of looking forward, I use music. I love music. When I'm feeling down, I listen to music, motivational music, something to keep my spirits high, keep me moving forwards and going backwards. So, like, what are some of the ways you guys?
If you mind, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this one first.
Yeah.
Just like you said, music. I'm an artist myself. Like I said before in the video, I have masters in choreography. I have a master's in sound engineering. So with that said, music is a big part of my life. From back in the day, Linkin Park, to now you got Stupid Young. You got a lot of people that in my lifestyle, even though they're rapping about different things, I've lived that. I've done that. I've seen that. I've held that in my hands. So my inspirational music is my goal in life, is to speak to people who are just like us, reach those kids, and keep going, because music is the reason why the world is still going around. Without music, I feel we have nothing. Music speaks to you. Music listens to you. Music is speaking the words for you and everything like that. So you got to think about this. Think of your favorite song that you listen to all the time. All the time. What is that song telling you? What does that song mean to you? What does that song make you want to do? You feel me? So when it comes to that sense, I listen to a lot of hip hop. I listen to a lot of country. I listen to a lot of, let's say, that gritty rap music. I listen to Linkin Park. I know, Linkin Park, you're black. Well, hey, color, it doesn't matter. I'm a big Korn friend. Ozzy Osbourne.
The lead singer of Seven Dust is black.
Yeah, right.
Go switch engage.
Yeah, that's heavy metal.
Right. So you got to look at it, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what race, what color, anything like that. Think of that song that speaks to you, whatever genre, and ask yourself, what is that song telling you? We're going to pass it to our co-host.
You're going to bang your head till you're dizzy.
Yeah. Bang your head till you're dizzy.
You are. Hey, y'all. So, positive ways that I get through the day, I'm going to take a little bit off of my friends here, and music is a huge part of my life. I can't sing, can't play a chord worth a lick, but music is so influential in my life, and I also have a pretty eclectic taste in music. I love everything from metal to ska to hip hop and rap to you name it, country, punk, reggae.
Oh man, we can't be friends.
So that's all right. You still love me. So that's just one of the ways that I try to keep my day going. I usually always have a headphone in unless I'm around somebody, and another thing I do is I work out. I'm not in the best shape right now. I just started getting back into it, but I love lifting. I love going on walks, especially here. We're in downtown Reno. This is the Truckee River right behind me. We found a nice, peaceful, serene place to come and hang out with you guys. So, I take walks for an hour down this river walk, every single day, just to, get my cardio in, but also get some peace of mind. Sometimes I go with a friend and we discuss recovery, we discuss mental health. Other times we, I'm alone and I just throw in my headphones, and sometimes I whatever genre I'm listening to, I need to feel those feelings. Sometimes a lot of the time, I'm a big metalhead, so sometimes I need that angry, sometimes I need that scream to help me, scream internally to get my emotions out, if that makes sense. Sometimes I need rap and hip hop because I need to hear those stories of trials and tribulations and things like that. It's from somebody who had nothing to look at. Millionaires, they're millionaires now, they pick themselves up from the streets. That's the kind of stuff that I want to do. That's inspiration to me. Sometimes I need to cry, so I throw on some sad country, sometimes I need to punch things, not literally, so I put on some punk, so on and so forth. Some other things that I like to do, honestly, I like to be around my friends. I like to socialize because I was such a recluse in my addiction that I lost all my friends, and even now I can't go back to those friends because they still use. So now I have a new set of friends in recovery, and I
feels good, doesn't it?
Dude, it's amazing. I have friends through the programs that I've been in. I've got some friends that I've met through AA. I've got friends that I met through NA. I've got friends of friends who are in recovery. And now like I can't go a single day without hearing from somebody, seeing like, hey man, how you holding up today? Or I'm sending out texts, hey man, how you doing today? And then it's like, hey, what are you doing today? Nothing, man, let's go for a walk. Let's go get a cup of coffee.
Let's go hit a meeting.
Let's go hit a meeting, stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that really just uplifts me, and as I go, I'm going to do fun activities. Those of you who are new to recovery, you don't know what it's like to go bowling for the first time sober, go to the lake the first time sober, go to the movies sober, but after you do, it's like it's an amazing experience because you're like, dude, I was totally coherent during the whole thing. I was able to appreciate the nature. I was able to appreciate the movie I watched, and so on and so forth. So, if you're new to this, just give it a shot. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's not life or death out here in recovery, unless you go out and use. So if you're staying straight, and you're strong in your recovery, then go live life. That's what I'm doing. I'm not giving up. Like, I'm going to keep living my life to the fullest until the day that I'm 6 feet under. So I hope that answered your question a little bit, Ronnie.
Yes, indeed, sir.
All right. Thank you, brother. Well, at this point, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We say some final words, I appreciate you if you have watched this video all the way through and gotten to this point. Thank you. It shows that you really care about your mental health and your recovery, which, I think goes hand in hand. And that's where, our name came from. Those of you that know Friendly Neighborhood Steve, know that I'm a huge nerd and I love Spider-Man. So I got my friend Shadow here, and eventually we'll have our other co-host Grim here. And I was thinking, oh, that's dark. And Spider-Man, black suit, symbiote. And that's how we got our name Symbiotic. So thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the comments. Have a good day.
Later, y'all.
It was great. Thanks a lot. You guys are awesome. Be strong.
Take it easy.